This question challenges you to test your knowledge of a specific dataset in Sklearn, a popular machine learning library. I want you to determine which statements about the features, like location, population density, etc., and the target variable, what we're trying to predict, are factually correct. This statement claims that the value we're trying to predict, the target, is the median house value, and that it's measured in thousands of dollars. I need you to check if this is true. This one says the dataset has 20,640 data points, or instances, like individual houses or blocks. I'll need to verify the dataset's size. This claims that latitude and longitude are categorical data, meaning they are grouped into categories instead of being continuous numerical values. Latitude and longitude are typically continuous numerical values representing geographical location. I need to examine whether this is actually true. The statement says that the dataset directly provides the average occupancy of homes in each block. I need to verify this. I should look carefully at what information the dataset actually gives me. This question asks you to determine which statements are correct regarding the California housing dataset from Sklearn. I'll guide you through each statement to find the right answers. Let's investigate. This statement claims that the main thing we're trying to predict, the target variable, is the median house value, and it's measured in thousands of dollars. We need to check if that's true by looking at the dataset's description. This statement says the dataset has 20,640 examples or rows of data. We can verify this by checking the dataset's dimensions or shape using code. This claims latitude and longitude are categorical data, meaning they are divided into groups or categories, like north, south. However, latitude and longitude are actually continuous numerical values, representing precise geographical coordinates. Remember, they are numbers, not categories. This is the main question of the quiz. I'm going to test your understanding of this specific dataset from Sklearn, a popular machine learning library in Python. Are you ready? Let's dive in. This statement is false. Latitude and longitude are continuous numerical values, not categories. Think of them as coordinates on a map. They represent precise locations, not groups or types of locations. I hope this makes sense. This statement is true. An instance here refers to a single data point in the dataset, one house in this case. The California housing dataset has a total of 20,640 such data points. This statement is false. While the dataset provides information about population and household size, average occupancy as a single feature is not directly provided. You would need to calculate it yourself using the data given on population and number of households. This statement is true. But it's important to be specific. The median house value is actually given in hundreds of thousands of dollars, not thousands. The target variable is what we're trying to predict, in this case, house price. This is the core question. I need to determine which statements accurately describe the California housing dataset from Sklearn. It's a multiple-choice question testing my understanding of the data. Statement A claims the target variable, what we're trying to predict, shows the median house value in thousands of dollars. I'll check the dataset's documentation to verify this. Statement B says the dataset directly provides average occupancy per block. I'll need to investigate whether this specific feature exists in the dataset. Statement C claims the dataset has 20,640 data entries, rows. I can check this by looking at the dataset's shape. Statement D states that latitude and longitude are categorical, like groups, categories. I'll determine if they're actually numerical coordinates. I will use the shape attribute to get the dimensions of the dataset. This will tell me the number of instances and features. I'll examine the feature names and their data types to classify them as numerical or categorical. This helps me understand what kind of data I'm working with. This section outlines how I'll access and check the dataset. It's a step-by-step guide to understanding the data. The first step is to import the necessary library, Sklearn, which provides tools to work with the California housing data. It's the foundation to begin. I'll fetch the California housing dataset using the fetch_California_housing function. Setting as _frame equals true to easily work with a pandas data frame. Using this makes the data handling simpler. I'll print the "DESCR" attribute to get a description of the dataset. This will provide detailed information about the features and the target variable. I will use the "shape" attribute to get the dimensions of the dataset. This will tell me the number of instances and features. I see that option B claims the dataset directly provides average occupancy per block. However, that's incorrect. While the dataset includes information like the number of households and population, you would need to calculate the average occupancy yourself by dividing the population by the number of households. It's a bit of a trick question. Option D is wrong because latitude and longitude are not categorical. They're continuous numerical values representing precise geographic coordinates, not categories like north or south. Think of it like using numbers on a map rather than descriptive labels. This statement is correct. The California housing dataset contains 20,640 data points, each representing a district. Each point contains information like median house value and various other features. Option A is partially correct. The target variable is indeed the median house value. However, it's measured in hundreds of thousands of dollars, not thousands, a small but important distinction. Always double-check the units. I'm presenting you with a multiple-choice question about the fetchcaliforniahousing dataset from Sklearn, a popular machine learning library in Python. We'll explore the properties of this dataset together. This question asks you to identify accurate statements about the California housing dataset. I want you to carefully analyze the choices and use your knowledge of the dataset or explore the dataset using the Sklearn library. You will need to focus on identifying what the target variable represents and the nature of the available features. This statement suggests the main value we are trying to predict, TARGET is the median house price. We'll check if this is indeed true by looking at the dataset's documentation. This option claims that the average number of people per housing unit is directly provided as a feature in the dataset. I will verify this by examining the dataset. This statement claims the dataset has 20,640 rows of data. I will verify this by checking the shape of the dataset using code. This option suggests that the latitude and longitude values are categorical. However, I expect these to be numerical values representing coordinates, rather than categories. I will verify the nature of these features. This is a quiz about the California housing dataset from Sklearn, a popular machine learning library in Python. I'll be testing your knowledge of this dataset's features and target variable. Let's see how well you know it. This question will ask you to identify which statements are accurate descriptions of the California housing dataset. You'll need to use your knowledge of the dataset or look at the documentation to find the correct answer. This statement claims that the main variable we are trying to predict, the target variable, is the median house price, measured in thousands of dollars. We need to verify if this is correct using the dataset's documentation. This statement says that the dataset directly provides average occupancy per block as a feature. I will need to check the dataset's features to determine if this is true or if I need to calculate it from other available data. This is a statement about the size of the dataset. It claims there are 20,640 data points or examples, instances, in the dataset. I can check this by looking at the dataset's dimensions. This statement describes the nature of the latitude and longitude features. It claims they are categorical. However, latitude and longitude are usually continuous numerical values, so I need to verify. This is the button you will click when you're ready to submit your answers to the quiz. Good luck! The California housing dataset from Sklearn is a collection of data points, each representing a block of houses in California. Each data point has several features and a target variable, the median house value. We'll be working with this dataset in the quiz.